Hello once again to Midnight's Edge After Dark. We are coming to you live on tape. Sorry, due to technical difficulties, there is no live show, but we still have something for you this week. Coming to us from Radioactive Cheddar Cheese Studios is the one, the only Tom Connors. How you doing, Tom?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing, Rob?
Oh, doing absolutely fantastic. And I am your narrator supreme, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, coming to you from fabulous Shabby Road Studios here in the heart of the Elm City, the birthplace of Ernest Borgnine, for what that's worth. I don't know. So, but
he's a good actor.
He was a good actor. Yeah, I great death scene in Escape from New York. Really, absolutely.
And Willard.
Yes, and Willard. So anyway, and McHale's Navy. He was in McHale's Navy. Let's not forget that. But anyway, we've got all kinds of news for you today. We've got the roundup. We're sorry, sadly, there is not enough good Star Trek news to bring you the Captain's Log. But the Captain's Log will return again in the very near future. We are calling this right now the calm before the shitstorm. So we will revisit the Captain's Log for more STD news. So Tom, we've got some interesting stories today. We've got some viewer questions. We've got the roundup. Why don't you take us through our first story?
Well, the only real story going on right now is that Simon Kinberg came out and talked a little bit about X-Men Dark Phoenix. He says it's going to be a little bit more grounded than the comics. He also said that we must find a way to ground it so it's not too intergalactic. He says, while mentioning how the X-Men movies are known for being human and emotional. You read the article I sent you about this, and I'm sure you have a lot to say about this, Rob, so I'm just going to turn it right over to you because I know you seemed a little upset about this.
Yes, to me this is Simon Kinberg saying, let's see, how do I take something that's really good and really ahead of its time and turn it into an absolute pile of shit? Yeah, I listen, other than Daredevil Born Again, Dark Phoenix is probably one of my favorite story arcs in the Marvel Universe. And I'm sorry, but they are just looking to lay the groundwork to just fuck this up from the word go.
Well, and they pretty much screwed it up the last time. I mean, there's no real big fan out there of anybody that I know of really of X-Men The Last Stand. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who like it, but there can't be anybody out there who can say, oh yeah, they did Dark Phoenix any kind of justice whatsoever. And it looks like they're going to end up doing the same thing here because, you know, they're going to end up being on Earth again and not the moon. And chances are they're going to ignore the cosmic origins. So that's kind of, you know, like, why even redo it then?
Yeah, to me that tells me they've got an edict from Fox that says keep the cost down. So Kinberg is going to try to work around really Fox just not wanting to pony up to do this properly. And my whole thing, Tom, have you read the Dark Phoenix saga?
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't actually read it in years, and I kind of vaguely remember the TV series when they covered it a little bit, or pretty much did it on there. But we're talking, you know, 20, 25 years ago or better, so it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, they're treating the Phoenix Force as her mutation and not as this primal cosmic force that is, you know, one with the universe, so to speak. For those of you who are unfamiliar with X-Men The Dark Phoenix Saga, I urge you to go pick up the trade paperback. It is well worth the read. It is well worth the... What do the trade paperbacks go for now? $15-20 now?
Something like that. But not only that, I'm sure it's available digital as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I condone. I'd rather you pick up a book, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, for those, I'm going to give you just the Cliff Notes. Not even a Cliff Notes version, but actually, and I know how people dislike him on the internet for what reason, I don't have no idea. But if you get a chance, go watch Movie Bob's video called Phoenix Fails. He actually does a good synopsis of the whole point of the Phoenix Saga. And like I said, Simon Kinberg, he's just trying to find excuses not to include the Shi'ar, not to include the Blue Area of the Moon, not to include the Starjammers in this, not to include the Omicron Crystal, not to include a lot of the elements or the Hellfire Club. for those, like I said, for those who aren't familiar with the whole idea is, and I explained this to you, that originally Jean Grey, despite what they show you in the movies, is not an interesting character. She is the girl of the original X-Men. You had Iceman, who was sort of reverse Johnny Storm. You had Beast, you had Cyclops, you had Angel, you had Jean Grey. She was the token female. She was, as to paraphrase someone else again, to paraphrase Movie Bob, she's pure as the driven snow. She's Sandy from Greece. She is about as interesting as room temperature water. And then she becomes the Phoenix, and then she has this transformation. She has these come hither eyes. She has long flowing hair. She has a new costume that looks like naked skin. And then she starts to manifest her powers, and then she starts to enjoy her new powers, and then suddenly Little Miss Perfect becomes a dirty, 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 dirty girl. That's it. A good girl gone bad story. That's really what it is. And and at first her friends think this
50 Shades of Dark Phoenix.
Exactly. 50 Shades of the darkest this is. And really, there's a point in the comics where she's just living out these S&M fantasies with her former teammates. And I gotta tell you turn to that one page, you see that leather corset and those thigh-high leather boots of her as the Black Queen. And as an impressionable 13-year-old reading that, I said, what the hell is this? I'm not sure if I understand it, but I know I like it. So, and again, at first, and the whole thing is and again, the whole idea is the story is of the unbridled power and the not having the wisdom to control it, or the manifesting of your sexuality and not having the maturity to rein it in and know at times that it's improper and letting that consume you. That's self-destructive. And and all Simon Kinberg and Fox want to do is get to the giant Firebird. And I understand that the Hellfire Club really isn't going to work today, and that, I hate to say in the age of political correctness, an S&M cult that dresses up like a bunch of Revolutionary War cosplayers, that's not really going to fly. And they're going to try to want to get around Wolverine, and Wolverine having a pretty big part actually in the storyline. I think they're just on a path to fuck this up royally.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Wolverine at all in this.
This is potentially to be one of the greatest comic book movies ever. If they do it right, if they take their time. And going into space, I understand if you don't want to go into space, that's kind of aesthetic details, but it's the same time, it's not 1990 anymore, or 1991 or 2000 anymore, where you have to show this grounded version of the X-Men. We have Guardians of the Galaxy. People are used to these far out characters in these weird, colorful places. You can do that now. You don't be afraid to embrace that, but instead, Fox, as usual, wants to run away from it.
Well, and like we said before, they've already done it. It's not like this is the first time they're doing it. Yeah, they already did, okay, they did Days of Future Past, they did Apocalypse. These stories are probably the next popular ones, or, most well-known stories besides Dark Phoenix. So, yeah, it makes sense they want to do Dark Phoenix. It's a big, sprawling story, but what it sounds like they're doing here is kind of what DC did to themselves. You've already set yourself up in this more quote-unquote realistic, dark,
grounded,
more down to earth, grounded. Yeah, there you go. That's the word, grounded. And they use that word and throw it around like it's supposed to mean something, when really in this instance it doesn't mean anything more than you're basically, like you said, just cutting back the budget for the most part. And this is what, the 12th X-Men movie now?
That's a good question. We've had X-Men, X-Men 2, we're up to number 8. I think it's number 8.
Plus
Deadpool is sort of a de facto X-Men movie. So this is going to be number 10. So this is going to be number 10. And the fact that they can't get this right after 10 tries. Granted, I did like a 2000s X-Men, the first X-Men movie, but that was only because Stewart was Professor Xavier. Xavier's, hello, I'm Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Welcome to Xavier's School for the Gifted. which was awesome at the time. And
right. Well, that's what everybody wanted. They're like, I don't care who you get for everybody else, but it better be Patrick Stewart as Professor X, do or die, you know. And that's one thing that they at least did listen to the fans.
Exactly.
On. They didn't hear us when we said Angela Bassett for Storm. No, they heard Halle Berry for some dumb fucking reason. But anyway, we won't go there.
But the thing was, as long as you had Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, we'll forgive it. Yeah, you know. And plus, who doesn't like to see Rebecca Romijn in blue body paint?
She was fine. And, you know, we were like, who's this, you know, singer, theater actor taking over Wolverine? I don't know about that, but then we learned to deal with that. I don't know how, but we did.
That was like the surprise of the century. Jeez.
No, right?
I mean, yeah, I had no idea who this guy was. And when I saw the picture of him, I'm like, that's Wolverine. I said, that's Wolverine. This guy, I don't know who this is. Right. This guy's Wolverine, and people made a big deal about how he was 6'3", and Wolverine's only like 5'4".
And everybody wanted Danzig to play him too,
but he couldn't act. He couldn't.
Yeah.
Act. But anyway, we're kind of getting off track here.
Well, it's all still X-Men related, but yeah. So like here we are, 10 movies into this. If you're gonna do the Phoenix Saga again, do it. Don't do the same fucking thing you did before, which is pretty much what it sounds like they're gonna do almost.
So yeah, so Sophie Turner is playing Jean Grey, and other than the red hair, I mean, she's kind of, I don't know, she's kind of bland. She really doesn't have a whole lot of personality from what I've seen. And again, they're treating the Phoenix Force as her mutation, which it is not.
Well, do you think she's really going to be able to carry the movie like Jennifer Lawrence did the last two?
Honestly, no. And this is a part. And if they were doing this, I don't want to say a page-to-screen adaptation of the Phoenix Saga. If they were going to do this right, they need somebody who can really put on a wide range of emotions. And I don't see Sophie Turner doing that. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I never watched Game of Thrones, so hey, I don't know her work from that. I don't know what she's capable of.
Yes, I know we lose our nerd cred. Neither one of us have watched Game of Thrones. Sorry, guys.
That scene at the end of Apocalypse. Use your power. Use your power. I'm like, you don't get it. No, you don't get what the Phoenix is. And then they showed the big bird of fire. I'm like, no, you've already screwed it. You've already screwed the pooch on this one. So sorry. I mean, you can only go one direction from here, and that's downhill.
And this is probably the last one anyway. So I mean, as far as like a formal X-Men movie, outside of Deadpool or a spin-off of any type at this point, I believe.
I see them rebooting it after this.
Yeah, they'll let it lay dormant for a couple years, and then they'll completely reboot. We'll get a brand new everybody. So
yeah, I mean, you'll get Deadpool movies. You'll probably get X-Men and Deadpool movies, but
they may even use Deadpool to kind of open that door, because he's already made the McAvoy Stewart joke and stuff like that. So yeah.
So anyway, and like I said, Hugh Jackman doesn't want to play Wolverine again. So people say, oh, well, they haven't even done anything yet. But all signs indicate that it's not, the New York Jets haven't played a game yet. And I still know they suck. So
a lot of people didn't like Apocalypse. I liked it better than some, but I could see where they were disappointed. And it did disappoint me in some ways. It didn't really leave me feeling like I wanted more afterwards. Like, it was almost enough in itself to like, okay, I think we're pretty much around the block on this a few too many times. Time to call it a day for a little bit and maybe start over again in a while. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I got from that one, because it would have been the third film in the First Class trilogy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Good way to kind of finish it off. We knew Logan was coming. We knew, Deadpool kind of had taken it to this whole different level. So I felt like it's kind of time to put it away, but evidently they don't think so.
Now, do you think Logan is going to ruin X-Men movies much the same way The Dark Knight has ruined the DC cinematic universe?
if that's the angle they're going at here, if that's why they're trying to say it's going to be more grounded and darker, or they didn't say darker necessarily, but they said more grounded and down to earth or whatever, literally instead of on the moon or whatever.
Yeah.
I see it seeping in a little bit, but at the same time, I would be more worried if Apocalypse had turned out to be wall-to-wall jokes and stuff like that too. But
yeah,
you know, because that was kind of in the wake of Deadpool. But I almost think they're just kind of forcing it, to be honest with you, because this is I think that was what Apocalypse's issue was. It was so quickly into production after Days of Future Past. It was like, did they really have the time to sit down and make sure that this was the way to do it and what was best to go through with next? Because then they had to do a bunch of reshoots and shit like that, if I remember right. Yeah. It's like, it feels like somebody come in and said, you know, we got to cut $30 million out of this budget, and this is the result. So I think you're right. We kind of pretty much said all we can say about that right now. And
sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it's been a slow news week, so we have to do the roundup a little early.
We're kind of coming to an end of a season here. It's like the film season ends in August, kind of, and until like October sometimes. That's when it starts picking up again. So we'll see how things go here. We're kind of been working on the schedule and working some things out. So we'll keep doing the podcast, but we'll probably have some more recorded ones more so than live for the next couple of weeks till we get everything settled and actually get some shit to talk about, right?
That's right. Yeah, when the news, like I said, this is the calm before the shitstorm when it comes to Star Trek Discovery.
Especially when it comes to Star Trek. Yes, I have a feeling in Humans and stuff like that, which we had kind of planned on trying to go see this before, you know, in the IMAX thing, but they shortened it, and
we're not sure if we actually want to spend money on it,
right? So you know, it's kind
especially in IMAX.
Yeah, I see. For me, I mean, Rob's got a little ways to go, but I got a lot longer ways to go to see an IMAX. It's kind of they're really worth it. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe one of us will, maybe both of us will. We'll see how it goes after this weekend. And if you see our reviews pop up, then you know we did. If you don't, then we didn't. Okay, roundup.
Time for yeehaw. Time for the roundup.
Yeehaw. Ladies and gentlemen, for the roundup.
Okay, so far, roundup. We love The Simpsons. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know who doesn't love the Simpsons? Fox. Because a longtime Simpsons composer, Alf Clausen, has been fired.
Boo these people!
Boo. From Deadline.com, veteran film and television composer Alf Clausen has lost his longtime gig with The Simpsons. Deadline confirmed a report by Variety that Clausen was let go by the show's producers. The reason is not clear, but Variety reported that Clausen was told the company was seeking a different kind of music, and that he would no longer be scoring the hit animated series.
I guess they want a hip-hop score now.
They want what are millennials listen to?
I don't know. Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber. I don't know. Taylor Swift. No, you know what this really has to do with money, I bet.
Yeah. It's because maybe ASCAP would have had demanded to pay a pension. I don't know, but trying to save money. So typical Fox. Anyway, moving on. A guy by the name of Brenton Thwaites. He's going to be your Dick Grayson in the live-action Teen Titans series.
Oh, yeah. You mean not on a movie? No.
Deadline.com reports Brenton Thwaites, and you may know him from Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Well, anyway, he's been tapped to play the lead role of Dick Grayson in the new live-action series Titans. From Greg Berlanti and Kiva Goldsman, Jeff Johns, Sarah Schechter, and Warner Brothers Television. The series is slated to premiere in 2018 as part of the new DC-branded direct-to-consumer digital service. So, it's a decent-looking kid, I guess. I don't know what more to say about that. Not that familiar with his output, but
I am very surprised that they did actually have Robin on the show. I was half expecting him to be one of the characters that wouldn't be, so they could avoid the Batman connection. Because that's one connection on these shows that they seem to have avoided outside of Gotham. So, yeah. I'm kind of just surprised, basically.
Yeah, so next story. There is another reboot plan in the works, but with a little different twist. Yeah. An all-female Lord of the Flies reboot is in the making.
At least it's not Ghostbusters again.
From The Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers is planning a gender-bent adaptation of the iconic William Golding novel Lord of the Flies. Scott McGee and David Siegel will write and direct the new take on the story, which follows a group of young boarding school students that end up stranded on an island and will devolve into prepubescent savages over the course of the novel. Harry Hook directed the 1990 version of the story, while a 1963 feature was helmed by Peter Brook.
Now, this was actually one of the ones we thought about bringing onto the main story, one of the main stories, because it's a hot topic, but I guess just do it. But I think you kind of had an idea of how it's going to turn out. So.
Yeah. Well, there's this whole thing about how, really, I mean, it's probably going to be more psychological rather than beating each other with clubs. They'll probably just passive aggressively give each other eating disorders and slowly starve to death.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't anybody get on me about that. Okay. I'm not suggesting that's what the actual movie's going to be about. Okay. It's called a joke. Learn to laugh at yourself. Okay.
Could have been worse. No.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
Okay.
But yeah. Speaking of main stories that almost were,
Suicide Squad may be delayed. Production of the sequel of 2016 Suicide Squad may be delayed due to Will Smith's other commitments. Variety's Justin Kroll took to Twitter saying, "So hearing at the earliest, Suicide Squad 2 won't go into production until fall of 2018 because of Smith's schedule with Aladdin and Gemini."
Yeah, so here we go again with what's on, what's off. Suicide Squad 2 was supposed to be getting fast-tracked, and now all of a sudden it's getting delayed. Gotham City Sirens was off, and now it's supposedly back on, but we're hearing Joker and Harley's probably going to be a prequel to that anyway. Not the kind of news I'm sure Warner Brothers wanted to tell people, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, something's got to give somewhere. Okay, well, next up, Black Panther. We're looking forward to Black Panther. I'm looking forward to Black Panther. You looking forward to Black Panther?
Hell yeah.
I think we're all looking forward to Black Panther. And this has been in and out of the news, but actually we have a new item. Black Panther's...
I haven't been this excited for a Panther since the original Pink Panther. Not talking about the Steve Martin either.
Okay, we got cut off because of royalties.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, Black Panther's sister is confirmed to appear in an Infinity War. Actress Letitia Wright took to Twitter confirming her appearance in the upcoming Infinity War. The actress who plays T'Challa's sister, Shuri, tweeted, "Blessings. Super excited to be a part of this."
Man, I hate to be a kid who tries to collect all the figures that are going to be in this movie. Jesus.
Got to buy him, Infinity War. So.
Yeah, just like Pokemon. Holy shit, we got, 150 characters in this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, the toy line people have got to just be wetting in their seats right now. They're like, "Oh my god, we got so many figures."
Oh my god, yeah. It's the parents are gonna have a hard time keeping up with this in the next couple Christmases.
Anyway, no, just all kidding aside, though, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
They're just stacking them up. Why not?
Why the hell not? I'm still waiting to hear if Sentry's gonna be in Infinity War, but I hope so.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you were telling me about it.
Next item on the roundup, Disney TV, ABC, and Miramax to cut costs. Layoffs are looming.
Dun, dun, dun.
From Deadline Hollywood and the Wall Street Journal, there is no firm deadline or the number of jobs expected to be cut, though reductions will come through attrition, open headcount, and people being removed out of current jobs. The Wall Street Journal said the targets include ABC Broadcast Network, ABC Studios, ABC News, and local stations, with Disney Channel and Freeform also likely to see job cuts. The Wall Street Journal says it could mean 300 layoffs overall in the division that employs around 10,000, and that Disney ABC boss Bob Sherwood would likely present a plan to Disney CEO Bob Iger in the coming weeks. That's not really a very big number if you think about it. 300 out of 10,000, but still, it's sad to see anybody lose their job.
Well, and not to mention the fact that it's Disney.
Yeah,
is the bigger thing. I mean, yeah, ABC, but still, this just goes to show that television revenue's down, theater revenue's down. They're hurting right now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as the second part of the story, meanwhile, former Disney subsidiary and current Al Jazeera owned how do you say this is pronounced?
BN Media?
BN Media, yeah. Well, BN Media owns this now. Miramax, who used to be owned by Disney, is now owned by BN, who also owns Al Jazeera, has laid off 20 film service and delivery employees. So, which means they're gophers or whatever.
Probably.
Well, it looks like people at Miramax are going to have to go get their own coffee from now on.
Yeah, probably. Well, Miramax is famously known for being started by the Weinsteins at Disney many, many, many years ago, and then when that all got divided and sold off, evidently this BN Media bought it, and now they're having some financial troubles, so sorry for them. But this is going to be something we're going to hear. And the reason we bring this up even is because I think this is going to be something we're going to hear a lot of, especially in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and there was actually another report today that we didn't include the roundup that movie stocks are tanking, AMC stocks are hitting the skids. I mean, there's a lot of upheaval in the entertainment business these days. So
yeah, they're hitting lows left and right. You're going to see a lot of layoffs coming up here in the next few weeks, I bet.
Yeah. So anyway, so that just about does it for the roundup.
Yeah. All right. So we did have a few viewer questions here. Mike Matisu of the Facebook group had a question for me on the page. He said, got a question. Will Robert Downey Jr. survive A4?
Yes.
And let alone, yeah, probably. Let alone will Episode 8 and Solo movie not bore us to the core? Episode 8, I'm not worried about. The Han Solo film, I'm a little worried about. I think you feel about the same way, probably.
Yeah.
But what he'd really like to ask us is, do you think there's a chance that there's a sci-fi or fantasy movie coming out in the forthcoming 18 months that will blow us away, like back in the day when we supposedly didn't know everything about a movie before it came out?
No.
Thor Ragnarok, maybe.
Yeah. They're keeping a pretty tight lid on that.
And then, I mean, we haven't seen anything yet from Avengers 4, so at this point we know, other than we know that it's going to have probably the largest character collection in history for action figures. I mean, we haven't seen any yet, so we can't really speak to that, but knowing Disney, I'm sure we will. That could be really exciting. I mean, I haven't seen the bootleg trailer. I refuse to watch it because it gives me a kink, but I know you've seen it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. So I have a feeling that might be one too. You never know.
Yeah. So
Blade Runner could be surprising.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it's going to be Ready Player One, because there's just something about that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know, and I love Steven Spielberg to death, and I love all the 80s callbacks that were in it, but to me it just felt like I'd rather just be playing a PS3 game or something. Yeah.
You know?
So, okay, actually, I have the next question in front of me from Ace Attorney 9000. Hello, Midnight's Edge. I have a question for your podcast regarding animated films. Do you think that traditionally animated movies, i.e. 2D animated, should start getting more theatrical releases? And if so, what would it take to bring 2D animated films back to theaters? It's got more. Just the rest of it just read. I'm sorry, we have to just cut this a little short because the rest of it just reinforces your question about 2D animated films. I think it's cost that's keeping 2D animated movies out of theaters. I don't think we're going to be seeing any 2D animated movies unless
it's a complicated question. Yeah, but a simple one at the same time.
There's still a lot of 2D animated movies coming out of Japan in form of anime. So I mean, those are going to continue. Yeah, they did do actually a CG anime movie about 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, Space Pirate Captain Harlock, and I saw that, and visually stunning, but the story was not very good.
Sarah Moreno writes, should Fox team up with Marvel Studios after X-Men Dark Phoenix, since this would be the last X-Men movie with this cast? We kind of covered this already in the show. So pretty much quick, simple answer is not. They should, but they probably won't.
Yes, they should, but they probably won't. I mean, it would be a no-brainer. It would be a way to revitalize the franchise. All right, well, that looks like that's all for now, and we will be riding off into the sunset.
I'm sure we'll be back soon, yes.
We'll be back soon, yeah, but Buckaroos, it's time to saddle up, and time to put this puppy in the barn.
Yeah, we're going to take a short little vacation as far as live shows go, but you'll hear from us. We'll be around. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll be, plenty more Midnight's Edge After Dark to come, so...
But the live shows will be back soon. We'll have more announcements about that and more, so stay tuned for that. And, of course, check out our Patreon, where you can get all kinds of cool stuff on there. Am I right, Rob?
Oh, yeah. We have all kinds of levels, all kinds of bonuses for patrons. You get the full, 40-minute audio?
Darn near it.
40-minute audio for the Alien Covenant mini documentary if you are a patron. You also get there's a multitude of different levels. If you like the show, if you donate to Patreon, that means we can make the show better for you. We invest, we get things like mics and editing software and stuff. We can make
better internet,
better internet.
So we can do live shows.
I can get that Gibson Flying V I always wanted. So
start that alcohol abuse problem you wanted to get going, yeah.
And then I could check into rehab, and then
coke habits just to lose weight. That's all it's for. So,
like I said, I can start my addiction, beat it, and then write the tell-all book about it. So
there you go. So it pays for itself 3 times over.
Exactly.
Also, Andre has started telling us the making of Midnight's Edge. That's started to come up. He's got another episode of that coming up soon. And of course, if there's a lot of early exclusives, like Rob said, the Alien video, the audio for the Alien videos up there now. The video will be coming soon, and of course, a lot of times you'll get a lot of the earlier access to that kind of stuff, the news, and just tons of exclusives like a lost episode, the making of Midnight's Edge, all kinds of cool shit. So yeah, check that out, and also don't forget to click that subscribe button and tell them about that pesky bell.
Yeah, the bell icon. Due to YouTube's recent changes, in order to get push notices sent to your phone or be informed when new videos and new content is uploaded, you gotta click that little bell icon. So you ring that bell, and you'll know when our fabulous new stuff has been uploaded. So,
right, like where we're going live, or we got a new review or a new podcast, whatever's up. Yeah, that's how you know. And since you know how YouTube is, take a second and just watch those ads for us once in a while. That helps a little bit. So yeah, thanks guys.
Okay, yeah, turn the sound down, watch the ads. That's what I do. So doesn't matter if you pay attention to the ads, just watch them.
Sometimes they're good movie trailers. Just sit down and watch them.
But anyway, that's it for checking. Signing off from Shabby Road Studios, from Radioactive Cheddar Cheese Studios. We're gonna bid you a good night.